creates nothing, gives away possession, doesn't defend, moves out of position, leaves the midfield to get overrun. I'm tired of it. Breaks down attacks, but because he does fist pump, yells at another player, he gets the crowd on side. He only does the post-match interviews, a little talk about to the young lads, keep their heads down, and he gets away with it. He's not good. He's really not good.
Amen. And welcome back to the Social Media Derby. We're in for another great week, this time with a special segment. But before we get into any of that and getting into introducing our special guest for the week, as always, for those of you watching on YouTube, please subscribe to the channel, like the video and share if you can. Remember to comment down below if you disagree with any of the things we say about either Arsenal, United or in the special segment that we have today. And for those of you listening on Spotify, Apple or any other podcasting platform, please follow and give us a 5-star review if you can. All right, now we have a very special guest. As you can see, a great friend of mine for over 10 years now as well. He's unfortunately a Man United fan, so I'm outnumbered for this week.
Go on, son.
But come on, big Munashe, how you doing, mate?
How you doing, guys? Thank you for inviting me onto the pod, and I look forward to getting to these games with you. And John, it's your fault you're an Arsenal fan. You broke away.
Mate, you are lucky that Big McSauce came to save you. Otherwise, this would have been a painful
bro, don't get me started. We're going to have to talk about him as well.
All right. Well, I'm looking forward to the chat that will come up about old McSauce today. But before we do that, Ant, how you doing, mate?
I'm good. 2 good results for our teams today, so hopefully it's going to be a positive one. But I know Nash has got some strong feelings about a couple of our players, so we might get sidetracked with some McSauce, Bruno chat. But yeah, good times, man.
I mean, based off of some of the WhatsApp messages he was sending me yesterday, I know he's going to be coming on Grease based off of some things that I replied to him with. So we'll get into that one. But before we do any of that, let's preview a little bit of the episode to come and what we're going to talk about. Obviously, we saw Man United and Arsenal both play today, both away. First of all, United against Villa at Villa Park, and then Arsenal against West Ham at the London Stadium. Both positive results for the two teams. So it's obviously going to be maybe a bit more of an upbeat episode this week. We'll be going to be coming on some Grease chat. And then we'll get into a little preview of the next games coming up and get some predictions on what we think might happen. And the very special segment that we have this week is we will be doing an AFCON and Asia Cup draft. So as we kind of talked about on a previous episode, we want to try and shine a light on 2 tournaments full of really, really good players that don't necessarily always get a lot of limelight from kind of the mainstream media channels. So we're going to be talking about AFCON. Obviously, the news has just come through not so long ago that big Ivory Coast have won it in their home nation. So that's a big one, as well as Qatar winning the Asia Cup, which I believe one person on this podcast predicted would happen, or maybe both of us. But yeah, we're going to get into a draft where every single one of us is going to draft our kind of best 11 from that tournament, but obviously with no duplicates. So if I pick someone, Nash can't pick him, Antony can't pick him, and so on. So it's going to get tasty. I hope that everyone on the call has been doing their homework of the Asia Cup and AFCON, because if not, and I'm pointing mainly at myself here, there's going to be some stinkers. But let's go straight into the United versus Villa result. We'll start with you, Nash. Obviously a 2-1 win. How did you think the whole game went? You know, how happy were you to see big Scott McTominay get that winner for you?
So let me just give you a demonstration of how I was feeling. I brought a little prop to demonstrate my emotions during the game. I was on the gin, man. I was stressed.
Was on the gin.
United have been doing something to me lately, man. I can't keep up anymore. And the McSauce thing, man, I'm glad. It's got bittersweet feelings. I'm glad we won, but he can't keep getting away with this PR, man. He can't keep getting away with it.
I mean, at this rate, he probably will, though, unfortunately. But what did you make of Højlund and I mean the general performance from United? You know, the Douglas Luiz goal and his beautiful little shimmy that he did in front of Onana. What did you make of all of that, mate?
I'd say at the start of the game, we're starting to show more patterns of play and showing progression in the way Ten Hag wants to play football. But as usual, we just started to fall apart as the game went on. We really can't sustain 90 minutes. And I don't know whether that's tactic-wise or some of these players just aren't up for it. But as usual, it was a mixed bag. As for Højlund, I've been telling you recently, I told you this boy will come good. You didn't want to hear it. But you know what? I'm starting to think we might have a star boy on our hands. Add him to the list.
We're going to quote that. So I'm
Add
going
him to the
to do
list.
mic check for the editor. Let's make sure to clip that one up, please, just in case old
3 of them.
was it Sean Millis or whatever his name is comes good again.
Oh, Jesus.
but Ant, obviously, something that Nash just said is something that you specifically said to me while we were actually watching the game, and it was the point about the tactics, right? You start out well, you're playing well, Højlund gets a good goal, you look relatively comfortable, and then Aston Villa make some sort of tactical change, and they just start splitting you open and getting chances left, right, and centre. What did you make of it? Like, do you also agree that, you know, you guys just can't sustain something? Do you think it's a tactical problem? Why is it that this keeps happening to you?
I don't know, man. I think it's a combination of things. I agree with Nash, though. I mean, I don't think United have had a good 90-minute performance, or we've had very few for the last 10 years. Like we play a lot in moments. And what I was saying to you during the match was Ten Hag had a knack of, if things weren't working during the game last season, he would make a substitution or he'd change something tactically and we'd get a good result, or more times than not his changes affected the game in a positive way. This season, though, it just seems like the opposition managers are doing that to us, and I don't know what Emery did, but after 20 minutes, once we scored the goal, we basically stopped playing. And they were finding pockets, and it felt like every attack, every moment was in our half. So, yeah, I don't know, man. Ten Hag's got to buck up his ideas, because I don't feel like me and Nash were talking about before you joined on the call. I wasn't sure we were going to get that winner. It wasn't like something that he did cause McTominay to score that goal. It was very much chuck McSauce on and just hope he throws himself at something or manages to, come up with some moment of brilliance to get us to win. I don't think it was a tactical tweak. So it's good that we won 4 games in a row. It's good, like Nash said, that Højlund is, continuing to score. What's that, 5 in his last 6 or something?
Yep.
So that's good, man. It's really positive. 3 star boys on our hand. Kobe was good again today. Kobe was good. I enjoyed his performance. People were running off him a lot, but I don't think it was his fault. I think it was a tactical thing, and I feel like he was much better in the second half. Casemiro is always Casemiro. So, but I actually do think Casemiro's been good. It's been much better to have Kobe next to Casemiro rather than Kobe next to McTominay. I felt way more exposed when McTominay was next to him. But yeah, Garnacho was a bit frustrating today, but he still works his off, and he makes a lot of runs, and he's getting into good positions. His finishing and final decision making wasn't that great today. He spurned a lot of good counter attacks, I think. But yeah, I think we're going in a better direction. I much prefer to beat Villa 2-1 at home. Something you lot didn't manage to do when you went to Villa Park this year. So we've done the double on them. That's not bad. They're this Unai Emery, might be the next United manager, might be the next big manager. All this chat was going on when we were struggling a bit earlier in the season. Who's laughing now? 2 wins against them in a row.
Following from what you were saying about Ten Hag, I've noticed, from last season to this season, he's completely abandoned all his football principles. When he came here, he was very much forward-thinking, attacking, possession-based manager. And then in the last year and a half, he's gone to reactive, counter-attacking football, no patterns of play. This keeps happening with all our coaches. They come in with set principles and ideas, and within, 5 months, they scrap them just for results. And some of these players have been here since Van Gaal's days. Just think about that.
True.
We have severe squad mismanagement going on.
Yeah, the thing about it is when the club's being run the way it has been run in the last 10, 15 years, even when Sir Al was still there, it was still run that way. But Sir Alex Ferguson just had more he had more strength and he had more power in the club. But since he's left and the Glazers and his moneyball have come in and done what they've done, like every manager has leftovers from the previous manager, and then he buys a few players or he has too much say in who they buy, and then they get sacked eventually for the same reasons you just said, because everything's based on performances, and then the next manager comes in and does the same thing. So you end up having players that were there, up until this season, you had players that were there from Sir Alex Ferguson's era. You had De Gea, you had a bunch of players who were there.
Phil
from
Jones
that time,
still on the
still
books.
in the team. Exactly. All of these guys that have survived 5 managers or something. So hopefully with this new structure that we're getting with Ineos and Barada and all this kind of stuff and the DOF that comes in, they'll start making some tougher decisions. We've got a bunch of players out of contract in the summer. A few people that I still like, but that might need to move on. Hopefully, if Ten Hag's still there, he can work with a squad that fits his style a bit better, and you don't see, because you're right, man. He's gone into survival mode, like pretty much all of this season and since maybe January of last season. Everything was about just getting results, getting in top 4, winning a cup, and that's all that matters. Like I don't think he's focused enough on style of play.
Well, I mean, on that point, right? So, as you say that you've got this new kind of structure, organization in place now, right? So you're obviously looking a little bit more optimistic for the future, right? So maybe it does just become a question of Ten Hag just needs to get the results to stay in for long enough to be able to change up the squad to get to a point of real change. And I guess on that point, given the results that you're coming off of, you're now, you're 6th in the league. This was kind of a 6-point type of game against Aston Villa, who are the team that is ahead of you now by 5 points. I guess I'm gonna start with Nash, mate. I mean, we haven't asked you. I know kind of what Anthony thinks about this already, but given this current run of form that you're on, the fact that Aston Villa look a bit stinky right now, Tottenham are getting a bit shaky. What are your predictions for the end of the season, mate? Do you reckon Ten Hag can get you over the line back into the Champions League after that horrible exit that you had this year?
I knew I was delusional when I predicted in January we're making top 4. But even the games we lost since January, I keep saying to the boys, slow climb up the table. I don't know how we're going to do it, but we're going to find a way. And knowing us, we'll mess around and end up 3rd of all places and not just 4th.
I thought that was going somewhere completely different, by the way. He's like, we're going to mess up and end up 5th, but he says mess up and end up 3rd. So you're coming ahead of Liverpool, Man City, or Arsenal, one of the 3 of them.
Bro, this is how we do. Yeah? This is United's. This is how we roll. Find a way to stumble into a position where we don't belong.
To be fair, mate, I don't think we'll do it this season because I think those 3 have pulled away just enough that I don't think we'll be able to do it. But I get what you're saying. We've done it before. I remember that season where Leicester were like 3rd for ages, and then they completely fell off, and we got 3rd. And then the next season, we somehow managed to get 2nd under Oli. Bro, and then even last season, we somehow managed to get 3rd, even though everyone was off Newcastle and said they were so amazing, and we managed to still, finish above them by 6 points or whatever. So it's possible that we do get top 4. I've said it on last week's pod. If we were to get it though, this game was the crunch game. We had to win this game because of how close we are to Villa, and we did it. So I think I wouldn't say top 4's on, but now I think it's really possible. 6 points behind Spurs, they're Spursy for a reason. So there's a chance. If it was Liverpool, even Arsenal or Man City or someone like that in 4th, and we had to overcome one of them, I think it probably wasn't possible. But
yeah, probably a bridge too far.
But 4th place these days is kind of like who
the
doesn't
best of the rest.
Yeah, who doesn't F up the most ends up getting it. Like everyone drops points, everyone does stupid stuff, everyone has results that you don't see coming. So it's just, as long as we get, as few of those as possible, I think we can do it, man. I don't think it's out of question at all. Keep the players fit as well. Because having Varane back in, having Casemiro, as crazy as he is, as he's guaranteed to. He's got to be. Honestly, we've all got to place bets on Casemiro getting a yellow card in the first 10, 15 minutes. Because it happens every single
keep
bloody
up
game.
With this, man.
Every game. every game.
That one today was shocking as well because that was nowhere near. That
There's
wasn't
no
even
need.
a foul, let alone
no
a yellow
need.
card.
But
I'm
I'll tell you
loving it
what,
Penalty
though.
as well.
I blame
He's
half
got.
of those yellow cards on Bruno. I'm just stuck there.
True.
I can
Yeah,
see
true.
that, yeah. But I mean, like he's come into the league with like a reputation like Joey Barton. As soon as the referee sees him get anywhere near another player, it's just like yellow, yellow,
It
red.
is, honestly.
Doesn't matter, mate.
Honestly, I don't want to get into like the agenda talk because that's a very Liverpool thing to do, right? But
It's
like
there.
there's something going on. Every time he like flipping breathes on an opposition player and they drop, he gets a yellow. That's why he just like loses his mind, like remonstrating with the ref afterwards, because he's like, "Come on, man, this can't happen every single time." The penalty last week, I don't think was a penalty.
Egregious.
Like I mean, we've argued on this pod about the Crystal Palace malarkey when he like barely touched man's throat and he got a red card. There was the other one where he went like he got the ball and his follow through slightly nicked man's shin and he got a red card. Like, come on. At this point, we might.
For
There is an
a
agenda.
sentence that started with "I don't want to be like a Liverpool fan," that turned into something that a Liverpool
Yeah.
fan would say, right?
No,
all
but
you
John,
all you had to say after that was Casemiro invented getting a yellow card. We did that first. You're stealing it from
No,
us.
but
Then
Johnny,
it would have been
be
pure
real, man.
Liverpool right there.
Even at Real Madrid, when he got yellows, he was rarely sent off. And
Yeah,
since he came
exactly.
to us, this reputation has been enhanced. It's
Yeah.
clearly something going on there.
Yeah.
But before we move on, I just want to touch on a couple of performances as well because we like both good and bad. So Onana, I think, had one of his best games for United. I don't think he didn't make like spectacular saves, but he just
steady.
actually he actually looked stable, man. And that's
a
how
big
low the bar,
improvement.
bro. Exactly that's how low the bar is with Onana. I just want him to look like a goalie and not like an outfield player playing in goal, which he has looked at sometimes in the other games. Yeah, he looked good today. Like he didn't make too many mistakes. I mean, there was one shot. Was it like McGinn's tried to like trick him with one, and he carried it out for a corner, which was a bit stupid. But that's clutching at straws. He was good. And the other one I want to shout out was Dallo.
Oh,
And Dallo's
so
been
good.
Dallo's been moving a little bit silently in the background. He's been making loads of last ditch tackles, and he does a like celebration.
He's improved
thing,
so much defensively.
Yeah, he has, man. He has, and I love it, man. I'm a passion merchant. I love when he does a like last minute clearance or block or something, and he gets up and starts like chest bumping people and high fiving them. That's what I want to see from my defenders, man. So, and he got the assist as well for McSauce's goal today. His delivery, attacking wise, he's still been good going forward. So, big up Dalot. But let's talk about Bruno then, Nash, because I can tell that's something that you wanted to talk about. How do you feel about Bruno then?
Earlier, you just said you're a passion merchant. Me, I normally are ball passion merchants. This is how he gets away with everything he does. He was meant to be our attacking midfielder, our creative hub, creates nothing, gives away possession, doesn't defend, moves out of position, leaves the midfield to get overrun. I'm tired of it. Breaks down attacks, but because he does fist pump, yells at another player, he gets the crowd on side. He's only does the post-match interviews, a little talk about to the young lads, keep their heads down, and he gets away with it. He's not good. He's really not good.
Amen.
There's no way around it. He's not good, and he's not going anywhere, which is what saddens me.
But hasn't there been some chat recently about like a contract talks and all of that stuff, right? He's got 1 year left, and I think you've got an option to extend it for another year. So from that description, Nash, are you saying don't extend it for another year and let man just leave after?
I need my
next
homies
season,
in
or
Saudi
what?
to come through with the bag. That's what I need. I
No,
need
but
them to drop the bag.
That's what I've read a few bits here and there. So it's basically going to come down to crunch time with a bunch of our like senior guys. Casemiro, Varane, Bruno. I think Varane's contract is up this summer, and we can either extend it, but we're looking to renegotiate at a lower wage because apparently he's on a huge pay packet. Casemiro's got quite a few years left, but they might try and sell him to Saudi if they can get enough money. And then with the Bruno one, I don't know. It could go anyway with Bruno because I do agree with Nash on that. I feel like probably the people inside the club love him because he kisses the badge and does all the extra stuff, right? So they feel like he cares a bit more. But I was saying it to you today, Johns, right? The thing that has become really clear about a lot of like attacking midfielders is that they need to like be stronger on the ball and be a good ball carrier so they can move the ball up the pitch.
And that's
like
his worst attribute.
Just like the quarterbacking from deep and just trying to play balls over the top and like Hollywood Hail Mary balls, which to be honest, sometimes for him they come off, but you know it's not a percentage game.
And he hasn't
Like
got
seven-
the ball placement to
You-
be able to do that.
Yeah,
you got to
yeah,
have the
not
Lamar
consistently.
Jackson. You got to be able to pass it, but you also got to be able to run it when you need to.
Yeah, and he can't. He creates technically based on whatever stats like Stato and all that, like the most chances in the league or whatever. But a lot of the time it is like hit and hoof, and like
Yeah.
it's someone running off the shoulder that makes the ball a better chance or makes it a chance. So it's going to be crunch time with Bruno. I'm not as harsh on him as you are, Nash, but I see the faults in his game very clearly. The passion stuff can't like blind me to it. Like he can't carry the ball. He's got no physicality, and the Premier League's moving more and more towards that. You look at KDB. I'm not saying you have to be a KDB, but he's got the vision. But he can drive the ball up the pitch without getting chucked off it, and he's strong. And the new cams, this next generation, like the Musialas and all that, they're built like that too. And Bruno's not. So he's not going to have longevity in our team if we go down, I'm guessing, the route Ten Hag will want to play in the long term. So let's see, man. But I don't have faith in United making that decision. That would be a smart club's decision. You know what I mean?
That's
so
the
let's
thing.
see.
Because if we're a serious club, we'll know in the summer if we're serious. If we re-sign Casemiro, Varane, and give Bruno extension, I know we're not going anywhere. These guys need to go. And McTominay, they need to be brave and not fall for this scoring form and ship him off to West Ham, get what we can while we can. Then I know we may be able to save ourselves as a club.
I do suppose though it will be very much dependent on where you finish the year, right? Like if you get into Champions League, whether I don't know if we're still going to get the 5 spots or not based off of the performances this year, but I mean if you get into the Champions League, then it puts you in a much better position to try and attract some players to your team. Because if you're going to get rid of all 3 of them,
we need an identity to start though.
Plus a couple of other folks, like I mean, it's going to get tricky to try and replace like 4 or 5 players in your team, right? I know that you have got a relatively deep squad, but you get rid of them 4 or 5. You're going to need to bring in some serious people this year. And I mean, everyone knows that United get ripped off. So if Omar Barada can come in and like change that round, then maybe I'll have some belief that you'll be able to do that. But I think if you guys come 5th, 6th, 7th, whatever it is, I don't know if you're going to be in a position to be able to say, you know what, all of you lot get rid. Because as much as I love the new organization, Man United fans are unbearable. You guys put pressure like no one.
Yeah, it's our fault because we need to be realistic. Like Bruno, Casemiro, Varane, these are players who are meant to be additive to a Champions League ready team. True. Not a team that's building. There's no place for those players in a rebuilding squad. And we don't have an identity yet or sports director. So once that starts, then we can actually start a project and who actually deserves to stay for the next 4, 5, 6 years. And those guys aren't a part of that plan.
No, you're right, man. But before we move on quickly, Jonty, I get what you're saying, but I kind of disagree. I feel like if we finish 5th or 6th, it's the perfect time. You get rid of those guys. They want to be playing in the Champions League and whatever. You start fresh. Like think about what you guys did finishing. I'm not taking digs, but finishing 8th and 8th allowed you guys to kind of purge the squad, get young players who are hungry, which you've done, and you see the quality that they have. They're the ones pushing you now. They're your best players. You haven't gone for like star-studded dons. You took that time to rebuild properly. Like Nash said, you got an identity, you got belief in Arteta, you stuck behind him, you did all this stuff. And I believe that that's the right way to go. Like we're not, our clubs need to regenerate and rebuild. You've done that. You're on that way to doing it. And we need to start from the decluttering part, get rid of some of these big high earners and start afresh.
No, I see what you're saying. Actually, that is a great point because I mean, with Arsenal fans, because really it's the fans, right? You need to knock them down a peg to realize you guys can't be buying the best of the best all the time. You need to invest in young players. You need to invest in people that don't necessarily, not everyone recognizes. So I get what you're saying. Maybe 5th, 6th actually does put you in a better position to be like, you know what, Man United fans, we ain't great and we're not going to be great for a little bit. You need to give us a little bit of time and let us rebuild this squad with the right kinds of players. So I get that, certainly. Maybe that is the way to go. But you're going to have some big old nuts on you to get rid of those 3-4 players because, I mean, they're names, right? And Man United is like the Galacticos of the Premier League. So when you see a Man United team full of players that you never heard of before, it's going to be a big shift for United fans to get used to. Like, you ain't going to have the Varans, the Casemiros, the World Cup winners and the Champions League winners that you can brag about all the time. You're going to have a lot more Højlunds. And unfortunately, a lot more players that you probably don't want to necessarily have on the back of your shirt at the beginning. But
let's ask Nash quickly about that. Would you be happy? Because he just said we got 3 star boys on the makeup: Højlund, Kobe, and Garnacho. I would take more of them than the big cemented stars. If we got a team of them kind of guys, I'd get behind it, even if we were stinking it up.
Easily. I would take a Pep first year at City approach. Fair enough, I can't get rid of them, but in the summer, I'll purge them, sell them at losses if we have to. Just get them out the squad and start from fresh. And I'm waiting for McTominay to be the first one off the board.
That sounds like 115 charges waiting to happen, though, mate. So I'd be careful on that first year of Pep settings out here. But let's move on to an absolutely stunning result that you two are probably going to be quite salty about. Arsenal battered West Ham. Have that, Bubbles FC. 6-0. Take that one. Rewind it back, as Ludacris and Usher said. Or maybe not Ludacris. Was Ludacris even on that song? I'm not even sure. But anyway,
No.
when I was watching, so I didn't manage to watch that game live, but I watched the highlights back. And mate, that should have been 8-0 and 9-0 because we were absolutely pumping them in the first half. Hit the bar, did all kinds. Areola kept them in the game a couple of times. We got a little bit unlucky here and there, a couple of misses. Saka put one across the post instead of just getting it in. But unbelievable. Rice, a goal, 2 assists, 2 Saka goals, good penalty. That's usually not his strong suit, unfortunately. But he managed to score that one, and then another great finish after that. An unbelievable goal from Trossard, Saliba and Gabriel getting on the score sheet, set piece goals once again. Just all round, it was unbelievable. West Ham again. That wasn't the best West Ham team or performance I've ever seen. They've got this weird knack of just not turning up sometimes. And I hope I don't see any West Ham fans on the street because I know that they'll batter me. But yeah, they didn't look like they were really there to play. Very Moisey, very Spursy of them to lose 6-0 to the Arsenal. But what did you two make of the game? Am I right in saying that it should have been more than 6-0? Because as far as I saw, we were absolutely pumping them.
Well, I'll go first on this one. Arsenal should have won by a lot more. But instead of focusing on the game, I would like to go on the bigger picture here. We say our league is the best in the world. This is where games are competitive. Every other league doesn't compare. And look at these results we're having. Look what's going on here. We make fun of the Bundesliga and Serie A for some of their lopsided results. And this is happening in our league. West Ham, a big club. This is happening to them.
I said a big club. They're a big club, but you're talking like they're like Bayern Munich out here.
They spend more than the champions of Italy and Spain combined. They have that much more money, and this is what they put on the field. This is starting to look like a money laundering scheme, man.
For
These
God's
clubs
sake.
can't keep getting. Am I wrong?
No. I hear you. I think we have to give mad credit to Arsenal first of all because they absolutely gave them a right old seeing to. Like that was mad. 6-0. I don't think anyone's going to go there and batter West Ham as badly as Arsenal did. So you have to give them some credit for sure. But yeah, West Ham, man, they need to take a look at themselves. Like they need to take a long, hard look at themselves. They got pumped 3-0 by us last week. Yeah, I don't even think we were that good, but they got absolutely hammered 6-0 at home. They had less than 30% possession. Arsenal had 21 shots and should have scored at least double digits, probably, like John said. Like they were absolutely stinking up the gaff, and I'm not surprised their fans left at 4-0 at half time. I would have been so tempted to do it as well, because yeah, man, like Moyes doesn't play attractive football. Like let's be honest, he doesn't. He's got Kudus, he's got Paqueta, so sometimes they do good shit. So, they score good goals and do nice things. But I don't think that he's instructing them to do any of that stuff. I think that's just, put them out on the pitch and inshallah. He's got no impact on that team playing the way it does in good ways. And then they get pummeled. You basically get Moyes to avoid getting these types of results. You get him to make sure you win a few, you nick a goal here and there and win a few, you win games by a goal or two. And if you lose, you might lose by a goal or two. But he doesn't play gung-ho football that you can get battered 6-0 at home. That's absolutely bonkers. So I get it. Nash is obviously going a bit crazy on the league. But
it's the Moyes PTSD. I should have known this talking to 2 United fans. Come on.
No, it's true. I'm giving credit to you, the guys, though, because I was saying it to you earlier. For Rice to turn up, get a goal, 2 assists, and they're booing him at the beginning. First of all, West Ham fans need to give their heads a wobble. He was your best player. They loved him, and you got 105 million for him. You didn't get like shortchanged or screwed over. Come on, man. Like, give him a bit of respect, right? You deserve that, actually, considering how they treated Rice. They deserve to get slapped for 6 and Rice to get half of the goals and assists, because that's stinky behaviour. But Arsenal did well, man. They definitely did well. But you can't say that, John, that the team who loses 6-0, they deserve to get hammering, right? You can't lose 6-0.
I'd like to touch on that Rice point for a second.
Come on.
No, it's been brilliant for Arsenal. It's been fantastic. But if you notice a pattern, when you sell your talismans, some of the people in charge of the replacements, it always ends badly. Tottenham selling Gareth Bale, they get a large lump sum. And it's
but after Villa got rid of Grealish, though, they actually got better. I will say that one there.
That's true, but most of the time you spend that big lump sum on 5-6 players who don't equal but one, and you completely decimate your squad building. Happened to Liverpool for a while there. Happened to Tottenham when they sold Bale, and now West Ham.
Brighton.
They look like Brighton.
They're not looking so great this season, mate. They're sitting in
happened to us when we sold Ronaldo. The patchwork building, would it not be better to just keep the lump sum for a later day instead of panic buying?
Yeah, but that might be a bit harsh on West Ham, though, because I actually think they use the money generally pretty well. Like, Kudus is a very good player, I think.
I'll agree. I
think that Alvarez, the Mexican DMs, was really good. They obviously went a bit Brexit and got Ward-Prowse, whatever. And Calvin Phillips is the one, I don't know what the hell they did. That's a weird one. Why would you get Calvin Phillips? He's he is my favourite quote on this pod. He's a 2-pack of ass. He's rubbish. he just wants to eat McDonald's, and I'm a fat boy, but he's really a McDonald's. He's ahead of me in the queue, so I don't know what's going on here. That stinks. I don't know why they mess with it.
That sounds like a Moisey signing.
Yeah.
Don't you kind of feel like, though, like at the end of the season, if West Ham get a better manager, they could turn around and be like really good next season if they kept a lot of their good players, because that squad is good, man. They just have. I think that, to be honest with you, they just have management issues.
That seems like a Graham Potter away from being a European team. Yeah.
True. That's a decent shout. That's a really decent. I mean, they need to upgrade some of their defenders. I think. Yeah, you can't have Ogbonna as your backup, because that's getting real sticky.
He's been there. How long has he been there?
I don't know, man, but you can't be having him. And Agard looked absolutely abysmal today. Yeah, so there might have been a bit of hype on that Don after the World Cup, because he was looking real smelly. Kurt Zuma, he kicks a cat better than he kicks a football. So they've got problems. They need to they need to work out some players on their team for sure. But I think their attacking midfield is decent. But I mean, if they lose Paqueta, they could lose Kudus soon. Then it's looking real sticky for them. So I don't know. Yeah. This might be as good as it gets. But you guys are right. And Potter's a good shout. I reckon he could do a lot with that team. But yeah. You should revel in this victory, John. 6-0. You're not going to get them results too many times.
Let's talk about your star boy, Saka.
Oh, you want to talk about our star boy? Yeah, the real star boy. Yeah, okay, we can talk about it.
I'll tell you what. One thing that annoys me is Graham Souness is getting so much love for this. He's starting to be proven right and right again. As soon as he dyed his hair back to black, start scoring again. I can't let. It's hard to watch.
Oh God, Graham Souness, what a legend. I mean, like,
him a bit.
I miss some of the shouts, but I mean, overall, I think, maybe it's good not to have him anymore. But generally speaking, I think, yes. I mean, Saka he's the original star boy, still carrying us. I mean, generally speaking, right? Teams have not let us play this way against them. That's why it really stinks from West Ham, because they've had this whole season to look at the way that teams have played against us and say, you know what, low block that, and they're not going to be able to score against us properly. And they did all of they probably. I'm imagining they watch film. They see how other teams play against us, and we haven't been as fluid as we were last season. They could easily have watched a couple of games and said, you know what, that's the easy way to set up against them. Even if we're at home, this is a good way to guarantee maybe, you know, a low scoring game and maybe we can nick one at the end. But they came out and I mean, I don't know if I can even say they tried to play, but they clearly didn't set up with like a low defensive compact formation, and we just pumped them. So I feel like from that point of view, it's kind of naive of Moyes to go in there and think, you know what, we can play against Arsenal. He probably is a little bit complacent from the past couple of results he's had against us, because he knocked us out of the cup and he beat us in the first fixture of the season as well. Yeah, at the Emirates. So maybe there's a little bit of complacency there as well. But generally speaking, you know, I couldn't be any happier. And I think, as you say, to beat a team 6-0, I get what you're saying, right? Like, there's got to be a lot of blame on the team, because when it gets to 4-0, shut up shop, man. It's like 7-arg. What are you doing? At 4, at 3, we stop now. We're putting, you know, 11 men behind the ball at all times, and we're not going to make this an embarrassing defeat, right? So I do agree. When it gets to like 5, 6, 7-0, there's a lot of blame has to be placed on the team that loses, because that's, as Nash says, that is farmer league settings, right? That is like, you just genuinely don't have, and you're at home. You're at the London Stadium. All those West Ham fans going mental. So, I mean, they're always shouting about champions of Europe and all that. How does it feel, son? Have that one.
But I mean, all the goals, I think you're right, though. I think they beat you twice in the season already, where they kind of use the tactics you just said. I just feel like they came in this game just taking liberties a bit, because like first half an hour, like you guys had chances and stuff, but it wasn't that, like, you got all your goals from the 32nd minute or something to the 65th. It was like the most clinical 15 minutes at the end of the first half and 15 minutes at the beginning of the second half that just completely finished them off. So yeah, I've got to be honest, man. I think Moyes might have to start looking over his shoulder, because I don't think the West Ham fans love him already that much, even though he's won the trophy and done whatever. I think there's always been this undercurrent of, we play football, like we want to play better football with the players that we got. So if he starts taking slappings like this, yeah, he's going to be on dodgy ground. And yeah, when you've got Potter and some like more kind of hipster, trendy managers waiting in the wings, yeah, it might be sticky for him.
And you know that management team, they're trigger happy over there.
Yeah,
Don't hesitate to get rid of him.
And I think this is, I mean, the last thing I'll say on it is that, like, maybe the Conference League win kind of covered up what wasn't a great season for them, because they were like in and about the like relegation area for a while last season, and they weren't looking good at all. And I think the Conference League win at the end of it kind of just put like a rose tint on the whole season. But they stank last season. And I mean, of course, they improved their squad. They obviously got the money from Rice and they used it relatively well. But I don't think West Ham fans were all that enamored by him until that kind of Conference League win. And I think maybe some of the shiny lacquers are coming off the West Ham team now. I mean, they're sitting in, what are they sitting in at the moment? I think they're sitting in 8th. They're sitting in 8th. You know, Brighton next to them. You've got to think Brighton are going to, you know, have a little second wind maybe. Wolves are a good team. They've shown it. They're sitting in 10th. Chelsea, as much as they stink, you'd imagine that they might get a little bit better at the end of the season. So
that's one step too far.
Fair enough. I mean, What I'm saying is West Ham could easily find themselves, you know, scroll down FC in like 11th or 12th position by the end of the season. And I mean, based off of the squad that they've got, I would say that would be an underperformance. So yeah, Moyes might have to worry about some of that, those rumors coming in by the end of the season, because he could easily be out of a job.
But before we move on, quickly, I want to shout out who's your set piece coach again? That guy better get a bonus, man, because the amount of set piece goals you guys score. I know Gabriel's pretty good in the air and Saliba's a bit of a unit or whatever, but the trend of you guys winning, scoring goals from corners and
such creative goals.
Yeah,
Nicholas Jova, come on down, son.
Big Joves. What a guy. He's got to get like a bonus or something. He's got to get an increase in his salary, because, like, we talked about West Ham. Sure, their players didn't do well today, but they've got some big giants, man. Zuma's huge. Agaird's big. Like, I think Souček played as well. He's a big lump as well. They've got a bunch of players that are good in the air, and for Saliba and Gabriel to score from set pieces, Decky Rice with the crosses as well. Yeah, you've done a wonder on the set pieces, man. Attacking wise, anyway, you look really good from set pieces, and it's about incremental gains, isn't it? That's what it's going to come down to for winning the league or being at the top. Being able to just not play that great. I know this wasn't in a game where you didn't play great; you played really well. But imagine in those tight games, and you come up with get a corner in the last few minutes or something. You know that you're able to score from them. That's a big deal. So yeah, shout out Jova.
And it comes down to the fact that I said it before and earlier in the season, right? If our like primary style of football, is not working against some of these low block teams, we've got to utilize some of the other characteristics our team has, which is we've got quite a lot of really large players, right? We've got pretty strong now midfield in that sense too. We've got people like Havertz in there who, I mean, I don't know what else they're good for apart from in the air. So from that point of view, we got to be using some of that in some of these set pieces. And I mean, especially with the development this season of everyone just packing out goalkeepers left, right, and centre, I think we've got to try and jump on that wave and try and use some of our players to try and do something similar. So I'm really happy with it so far. If there's no other way that we can score, then I'm fine to become header FC and just constantly just knock headers in. Gabriel, just Magalesh getting his big old forehead on it. But yeah, let's move on now. We've got obviously a preview of the next week, or let's say next week of fixtures. We'll start with Man United. You guys are playing Luton Town away. Luton have had a bit of a renaissance recently, right? They've been scoring a lot more goals recently than they were before that. They're looking a lot better. But obviously, you guys are coming off of now, a few really good results. So I'll start with Nash. What do you reckon is going to happen in that game? What do you think the score will be?
My head is telling me that we've got a settled squad now. The injuries have lessened, so we should, by all rights, win this game. But there's something about that bold guy that's holding me back, saying this is going to be the slip-up. I don't know why, but I've got a feeling this one's going to not turn out well for us.
All right, mate. All right, so what are you thinking now? Tell me what you're thinking. Don't sit on that fence.
A domination of the possession up to like 75th minute or something. One horrendous mistake by Onana. And maybe Lindelof, I'm thinking, because they look like there may be an injury happening there in the centre-back, and 1-0 to Luton.
Oh, you're going for a 1-0. All right. And how about you, mate?
Yeah, I need to give some apologies out in this section because the first 3 months of the season, every chance I had, I was hammering Luton and saying they're absolutely rubbish, and they're clearly not rubbish, and they clearly have given the big teams a difficult game at Kenilworth Road. I think they drew with Liverpool, didn't they?
Yeah.
And
Yeah,
you
they
guys
pushed us really hard as well.
Yeah. You scored a last-minute Declan Rice header, I think, to win that one. I think even City struggled for a bit there. So yeah, it's hard. And like Nash said, I don't think we've got the minerals. If things get a bit sticky,
to create when it gets low blocky.
Yeah. I think it's going to be sticky, but I just hope, and I'm going to pray this result to happen. So I'm going to put it out there. And I'm going to say United to win 2-1, but I wouldn't be shocked if Nash's result was right, or we drew, or something like that. Because even didn't Spurs win 1-0 and they relied on like a Van der Ven last minute goal or something like that. Like everyone's had a struggle there, and I need to make massive apologies to all the Luton Town ultras because your team's decent, man.
They have ultras.
I don't know. Luton's a bit of a rough area, so they're probably like the average man is an ultra.
For God's sake.
Next thing you'll be telling Milton Keynes at the ends. Come on now.
No, come on, man. No, I
Luton
won't go that far.
I didn't say
I
that.
won't
That
go
was
that
all
far. I
them.
won't go that
That was
far.
them.
But no. Luton, I respect that they've gone about it in a different way, right? Because you see Burnley, you see Sheffield. I don't know what Sheffield United are doing, but Burnley come up trying to play like expansive football, and they're not built like that. They can't do it. And Luton they understand what they're about. They play just like to their strengths. Ross Barkley's had a renaissance. I don't know what's happened to him.
God.
Like Nigeria's finest. He should have been playing for Nigeria today. But they're a decent team. So they're going to give us a struggle. But I'm 2-1.
I'm going to go for a 2-1 Luton.
Ooh.
I agree with Nash. It's a hard place to go, and you guys are a prime for a slip up. So I think you're going to lose 2-1 to Luton. I think similar in terms of Nash, I think it's going to be 1-1, and then there's going to be an Onana stinker of some kind. But yeah, let's get on to the Arsenal game now. I mean, both of us are playing kind of lower down the league table teams. Arsenal have got Burnley away. I'll go first here. I think coming off of that 6-0, I would love to say that we're going to slip up, and I kind of think that there's a chance of it. I mean, I'd love to say it because I'm generally speaking a negative person, but I think we're going to win this 3-0. I think, Vince Kompany, you think you're Pep. You ain't Pep, son. We've got the real next Pep out here. Arteta's going to absolutely spank them. Not even spank them. I think it's going to be just a routine victory, 3-0. But let's go to Ant this time. What do you reckon?
I love how you started so.
I'm jumping around, man. I'm jumping around. I say something mental, and then I'm just like, oh no, this could get clipped up. So I'm pulling it back. I'm reeling my neck back in.
Literally, just like walk it back straight away. Now, I actually think I'm gonna put the same thing out there. I don't think this will really happen, but I'm gonna say Burnley 2, Arsenal 1. I think slip up season is upon us, but it's gonna be time for you guys to slip it up. And it will be. Come on, we need to give Vince Kompany a bit of love. I don't know why he's a City legend, but we'll give him a bit of love. I think he's dealt with this absolute monstrosity of a season like with a lot of grace, with a lot of decorum and grace. Like, they've been getting slapped up every week, and he still comes out just saying we need to do better. We'll keep trying. Things will improve, and they're really not. So. I hope that this is going to be a game where he gets like his 5 minutes of joy and they get a 2-1 win against Arsenal.
All right. Nash, what are you saying, mate? Because
firstly, the next Pep's true disciple is Xabi Alonso. Let's be honest now.
Oh, shut up, man.
But I'm thinking Arsenal 2-0. You came off a high, so you're going to get complacent, but you will win. You won't crumble that badly. So 2-0 Arsenal.
Okay, all right, there we go. That's what I like to hear. All right, I think that's possible. I think Arsenal, Burnley. I mean, of course, you can't just be terrible all season, can you? You've got at some point you got to pull your finger out and do something.
Derby will argue with that. Derby,
true. Derby, and sorry to say it, Watford will probably have to agree.
Ole's Cardiff, come now.
True,
exactly.
True.
There we go. Fair enough. All right. I think that's a good preview. We'll obviously come back and see, what happens in the games. I think we're playing on Saturday. You guys are playing on Sunday, so we'll probably record the pod late on Sunday and see what happened. But let's get into the special segment. As I kind of mentioned before, AFCON and Asia Cup haven't really been getting a lot of shine, generally speaking. We kind of mentioned it before on the pod that because they're in the middle of the season, a lot of kind of Premier League fans and other fans will kind of look down on them as if like, oh, I don't want my players to go there. I'm not going to watch it. They're just not all that excited about that, right? In comparison, when you look at the Euros, when you look at the World Cup, all of that kind of stuff, generally speaking, a lot of fans tend to be a lot more positive about it. So we really want to give a bit of shine to AFCON and Asia Cup. One big thing, obviously, is everybody knows the streets will never forget type of ballers from Africa and from Asia. But really, what we want to do is try and highlight some of the killer players from this kind of generation of African and Asian players. So we're going to do a draft where we've got a specific. First of all, we'll go through the formation. We're going to do a 4-3-3. So that's a defensive mid plus 2 centre mids in front of them. And then we'll have a left winger, a centre forward, and a right winger. And we have a very special rule just to make sure people don't spam the same countries over and over again. I'm looking at you, Anthony. And we've got a rule specifically to say you can only choose 2 players per nation and no more. And I'm going to put another one in there, which is you have to have a player, at least one player from each, right? I don't want to just see full Asian players or full AFCON players. Again, and I'm looking at you with the Asian players there because I've seen your FPL team, mate. But let's get into it. We did do a little randomized picker before the pod started of who's going to go first, second, and third. Unfortunately, somehow I'm going third, and the guest of honor, Munashe, is going to go first. So we'll start with you, Nash. Who are you picking first off, mate? There's a lot of pressure here. This is the first pick.
First pick.
This is a big pick.
I'm going to keep it traditional and go with goalkeeper, and I went with Ronwen Williams from South Africa. It's been a great advertisement and ambassador for the South African League. Man, this is what we need. Someone
he
giving a
is
good
so.
account for an
Have
African
I just
league.
heard a first round pick as a goalkeeper?
It's not that kind of a draft, but yes.
Wow, you've gone for a goalkeeper first out,
He-
and the South African goalkeeper of all.
No, man, he's been class. He won goalie of AFCON. He like nearly
all
every
right, I take
penalty
it
he
back,
faced,
take
he
it back.
saved. Like nearly every single penalty he saved, he was even the ones he didn't save, he went the right way. He's a, I don't know where and who he plays for, but he
That's what I'm
looks really
saying.
good.
He's one of the South African domestic league players, and he's given a good account of the league. Probably bring some eyeballs to that.
That's
all
a
right,
great
all
shout.
right, we'll let you have it then. Okay,
I like that. I like
that's
that.
one
That's
of
a
your
great
that's one
shout.
of your South African picks gone then. All right, fair enough. So you've got the South African goalkeeper first off, Antony, mate. Second pick again, still a lot of pressure here. Who are you going for, mate? Please don't be a goalkeeper.
Oh, I'm so pissed, man. I really wanted to pick Ronald Williams. He's been so good, and I thought I could try and sneak in a player, and I didn't think he'd go first. Well done, Nash. I'll give you credit for it. I'm gonna go for. I'm gonna put him left wing,
Oh,
Okay.
and his name is Afif, Qatar's hat-trick scorer in the final. I think he was a top scorer of Asia Cup as well.
he was.
Unbelievable celebration. Disgusting celebration. Card
Magic
tricks in
trick.
the camera. Unbelievable. And yeah, he's a decent player, man. He looked really. He was very clinical in front of goal. He got 3 penalties and scored all 3 of them. I'm looking at you, Harry Kane. Why did you miss the second one? You did? And I think, yeah, unbelievable player. And yeah, that was one of my only predictions I got right from our prediction episode a couple of weeks back. And Qatar won it. And I believe they've won it back to back now because they won the last Asian Cup as well, I think.
I think they
So
did.
yeah, shout out to them, man. Big up Qatar. So yeah, Afif is going to be my left winger.
Okay, all right. Well, I mean, everyone, we've obviously got a lot of hipsters on the call because everyone's gone for Ronwin and Afif out here. So I'm gonna just keep it. I'm gonna keep it mainstream out here. And I was struggling my ass off with centre back, so I'm gonna go for Kim Min Jae of South Korea. Kim, come on down, son.
my god,
Have that.
this guy.
Have that, and it's my pick again because we're doing back
yeah.
and forth like that,
Back
right? So
round.
I'm gonna go
Oh.
again, and I'm gonna go for somebody who, I mean, this is a bit cheeky, but I'm going for Hyung Min Son.
Really?
All my South Korea picks out of the way.
You
Have
just
that.
maxed them up. Oh
Yep.
my god.
I don't want anyone else, mate. You can have the rest of them. Thank you very much. 100
respect
goals
that,
in the
you know.
Premier League. Got him to the semi-finals. I know it's a bit of a disappointment, and I'm an Arsenal fan, so I shouldn't really be picking him. But suck on that. Left wing, Hyung Min Son. Let's go, Antony. Try and top that. Son.
You've picked the 2 best like players in Asia, effectively. That's nuts. All right, where do I go now with this? Okay, just because this position I think is going to be a bit sticky, and I know you guys are going to struggle for players later on. I'm going to go a bit tactical, and I'm going to pick Troost Ikong, centre back, Nigeria, top player.
Ooh.
He did unbelievable in this AFCON, by the way. There's rumours now that I think he's playing out in Greece or something like that.
Yeah,
for,
Olympiacos, I believe.
Olympiacos. Yeah, Olympiacos. I think he used to play at Watford or something like
He
that
did.
before. I don't know what he was doing there. But he's apparently been really good in the Greek league, and I think he was one of Nigeria's better players. I mean, they kept unbelievable amount of clean sheets in this AFCON. So,
Only 2 goals from outside of play.
yeah, exactly. And he got one of them, right?
Mhm.
So, yeah, big him up. He's going to be my centre-back, Nigeria.
Love that.
All right, Nash, mate, you're up, son.
I want to play it safe with this one before he gets taken the midfield, and I'm going for Frank Kessié, Ivory Coast, Côte d'Ivoire. Former
Ooh.
star boy of Barcelona, AC Milan, Internazionale. Industrious,
player.
good on the ball, and came up good
player.
today.
So where are you playing him?
Centre
I'm
mid.
going to play... No,
You
I'm
want him
actually
centre
gonna
mid
play
or
him
DM,
deep
or do you
I'm
want
going
him-
to play
what do you
him
want?
deep lying.
Oh, you want him DM, yeah? I'll put him at DM.
Smart.
All right. I like that one as well because
It's-
I
it's
mean,
your-
AFCON winners. What can you say?
It's your go again, Nash.
We'll go again, mate.
And carrying from that, I'm going to go for a little more ball carrying in midfield, and I'm going to go Alexi Iwobi from Nigeria. Former winger turned
Ooh.
centre mid. I've got my industry, and I've got a bit of ball progression.
Oh man. Okay. Fulham's finest out here. All right. I see what you're doing. You're playing this like you're actually trying to build a real team, and I'm going straight names. I'm going Margs FC out here. I'm going for names only, ballers only out here.
Respect.
And who are you going for, mate?
All right, I'm gonna go for Bafana's finest, Mokoena, centre
Ooh.
mid. He looked like a really good player. Scored a banger of a free kick earlier in the tournament, and I don't know if he's related to the Mokoena who used to play for Blackburn, because he looks mad like him. So he probably is. Aaron Mokoena, I think, used to play in midfield, but he was really good, really really good. I think again, like Williams, he plays in the South African League, so I feel like he might get a cheeky transfer after his performances in AFCON. I think he's been really good. So yeah, I'm going Mokoena in midfield.
No, that's a great point, and I'm hoping that there are some managers out there in the Premier League at least that are watching this, right? Like people like I'll be honest with you, Big Ange, right? He's a great one for picking players out of Asia. There's a lot of players, that are not necessarily unknown, but they have lower transfer fees that they could go and nick with some really good, AFCON and Asia Cup performances, instead of going and buying Enzo or whatever after one good World Cup and paying 120 million or what they do for him. But anyway, sorry to the Chelsea fans, but not really. I'm gonna go for the man who scored the winning goal of the AFCON. I'm gonna go for the man that's come back from testicular cancer, Dortmund legend, better than Füllkrug. I'm going for Sebastian Haller out here.
That's a good pick.
I'm putting him centre forward, and I had a couple of others. You lot are lucky that I didn't go for a couple of others, but I'll let you off. And then, you know what? Right wing. Antony's pick for player of the AFCON didn't come true because his country went out pretty quickly. Played against the Arsenal team that just spanked them 6-0. And I'm going to go for Mr. Mohamed Kudus at right wing. I've got Son, Haller, and Kudus up front, man. Oh, I can hear the applause in the audience. All right, so that's one Ivory Coast picked. All of my South Korea picks done. Kudus, one of my Ghana picks gone as well. Ants, back to you, mate. Who are you going for?
Okay, now this is gonna get a bit sticky. But
this is what I like to hear.
I'm gonna pick someone who I think had a really good tournament again at AFCON. Big up my Congolese brothers out there. I'm picking Arthur Masuaku, left back, Congo. And I think he score like a banger of a free kick, or he slapped one top bins in one of the games recently.
Early in the tournament. Ooh,
yeah. He's got a wand of a left foot. I don't know why West Ham got rid of him, because I think he's a decent player. But yeah, left back. I think again tactically, left back is a bit of a sticky position, so I thought I'd get him while I can.
That is a good one. That is a good one. All right, Nash, you're up, mate.
I'm going to go for my wing positions now. And for both of these, I've gone for creativity and agility. So on the left wing, I've gone for Lee Kang-in, South Korea and PSG.
Ooh, I like that. I like that. Anthony's going to be livid because he loves him.
And for right wing, I've gone for Takefusa Kubo from Japan. Former Barcelona and Real Madrid star boy.
He's on smoke right now. That is tasty. Depends who you put up front, but that's tasty. That is actually, funnily enough, mine and Anthony's picks for Asia Cup player of the tournament. But I don't think either are coming true.
No.
But those are some tasty picks. Okay, so you've got you there's a lot of variety in there. Every single player you've picked so far is from a different country. I'm loving it. Okay. All right, Ant, how can you top that, mate?
Yeah, that stinks, man. Nash, I hate you. You picked two players I had locked in as my options. I was thinking they'd last for another couple rounds, so I didn't want to. I was trying to get the difficult positions out. But all right, you know what? F it. I'm going to pick someone that I think has had a really good season. He scored a big, important goal for South Korea in their game. Maybe it was Saudi Arabia? They had so many late comebacks. I can't remember if it was Saudi Arabia or against Australia, but he scored a big penalty to take it to extra time. His name is Hwang Hee-chan for South Korea. And I'm going to be playing him up front like he's been playing for Wolves.
That's what I had.
So big up Hwang Hee-chan, South Korea.
Okay.
Well played. He was meant to be my guy.
I like it. Okay. All right. Let's see what I can do here. So I've got all of my bloody attackers done now. I've got I'm gonna go for a. I've got to go for a fullback because that's gonna get really sticky. And I'm gonna do maybe a bit of cheating. I don't know. We'll see. My first pick is safe, so I'll go for that one first.
That's not like you.
It kind of stinks because they didn't have a good tournament, but it's a name, and I'm after names out here. At left back, I'm going for Ashraf Hakimi.
Left back.
Right.
Yeah, I'm going to play him left back because my right back, I don't know if he can play left back, and he's a super dodgy pick. But maybe I'll move them around depending on what you guys say if I'm allowed to keep my right back.
You know, I respect that.
Galacticos,
A little bit of creativity in there.
Yeah, I mean, we got to do what we got to do out here. All right,
Florentino Chang out here.
right back. Either you guys are going to hate this, but I'm going for Nsui from Equatorial Guinea.
Oh,
he played striker in the AFCON, but he's actually a right back. Come on,
no,
he's
bullshit.
actually a right back.
No,
what, you're not
not
letting me have that.
No. You can't have it.
He didn't play there.
No,
he didn't play there any of the tournament. That's so scummy, you dirty
Can we take a raise of hands, please? Who's letting me have Nsui? That's
I can't,
2 against 1.
That's the game,
I'm
man.
having it. Equatorial Guinea.
Ingenious.
Arguably, one of the players of the tournament as well. Not necessarily a right back, but, semantics. All right, Ant. You've just lost that vote. Who are you going for now, mate?
You're such a bastard. I'm gonna go for the other centre back. Oh, should I?
Don't.
All right, yeah. I'm gonna go for the other centre back, and I'm gonna go Itakura from Japan. He's a really good centre back. Japan didn't look great in this tournament, to be honest, but he looked all right. So I'm gonna go for Itakura.
Okay, all right. Ko Itakura. Who does he play for right now? He's playing for Mönchengladbach. All right. Okay. We'll put him at centre back. All right, Nash, you're up, mate.
For the centre back pairings, I've gone for the Congo pair, Chanson Bemba and Hensinonga Baka. Proper PNP Liga strength and power right there.
So you're going Mbemba, and he
Baka.
is from DR Congo. Okay.
And his partner Baka.
And you're going for his partner. Okay, so you're using up both of them. All right. Okay. All right, I like it. Okay. I mean, there's a clear difference between you two, your teams and mine. Mine is just not based off of form at all and just pure names. But all right, okay, I like it. So you've only got your right back, left back, one centre mid, and your centre forward left, Nash. So
yeah,
get thinking on those ones.
It's getting tricky now.
And you've got your goalkeeper, your right back, your DM, one CM, and then your right winger left. Who are you going for, mate?
This is tricky. All right, I'm going to go for centre mid, and it's going to be my other Japanese pick. I'm going for Morita. Plays for Sporting Lisbon. He's been really good for them. He scored a goal the other day. Again, one of the few Japanese players who came out decent from this disappointing Asia Cup.
Okay, I like it. So you've used up all of your Jap picks now, or your Japanese picks, sorry. It's just because that's the shortened name for Japan, all right?
Freudian slip.
Yeah, you know what I mean.
Anyway, doesn't make you look good.
Let's move on quickly, shall we? Before that gets clipped up, okay? All right. Okay, I'm gonna also go back to Japan, and I'm gonna go for an Arsenal legend right now. I'm going for big Takahiro Tomiyasu at centre back with Kim Min-jae. Oh mate, I'm building a team that would create a dynasty out here. And then for one of my centre mid picks, I'm going for Pape Sarr.
Ooh.
Another Tottenham player in my team, unfortunately, but
one.
I'm gonna have to do it just because he's a bit of a baller. Yeah, I'm gonna
that's a
play.
good
I'm gonna
one.
play him CM, not DM. Okay, it's more of a CM anyway. That's fine. All right. Okay, Ant. Who are you going for, mate?
Oh, I forgot. It's back to me. All right. I'm gonna go for a centre midfielder from Korea. I've still got a Korea pick, right?
Yeah.
Yes, you've got one left.
All right. I'm going for Hwang In-bom. He plays for Red Star Belgrade. He scored one of the 3 goals that Koreans scored against Pep Guardiola after he said the Korean guy about Hwang Hee-chan.
That was a
And
madness.
yeah, he's a really good midfielder, man. I actually think he's going to get a move. He was again one of Korea's like unsung heroes from this Asia Cup. So yeah, I'm going for him centre midfield.
I like it. I like it. Okay, you've used up all of your South Korea picks. You've got a goalkeeper, a right back, and a right winger left. Remember. All right, Nash, it's you up next. You've got both of your fullbacks outstanding,
Yeah, I'm
one
gonna
CM, and your centre forward.
for right back. I'm gonna go for Wilfred Singer of Cote d'Ivoire.
That's a good pick.
Young and a lot of strength and speed, because that's what I'm lacking in this team, a bit of speed.
He's an FM wonder kid as well.
Yes, sir.
Oh, okay.
And up front, it really should be Osimhen, but I can't with this tournament. I'm going to go for Kelechi and Nacho.
Oh, really?
All reliable. Kelechi.
Oh,
Yeah,
Okay,
Victor Osimhen
okay.
hasn't done himself proud with this tournament.
Wow. You really went Iheanacho over Osimhen. Okay. All right.
I'm looking
Fair
to
enough.
win,
Fair
man.
enough. No, I get you. You're going really off of form. All right, cool. All right, Anthony, goalkeeper, right back, and right winger. And also, by the way, Nash, you have no more Nigeria picks. All right,
Nope.
no more Nigeria, no more DRC, no more Ivory Coast. All right, remember that one. And
Yeah.
your turn,
All
mate.
right, I'm going to Cote d'Ivoire now, and I'm going to pick one of Brighton's most promising players this season, and he came up big today in the final. I think he came up with 2 assists, yeah, or at least 1 assist. And I'm going for Simon Adingra at right wing.
No, I like that. I like that. He's got me some FL points earlier in the season. I like that. Okay.
Yeah, he's a good player, man. Good
All right, you've got your goalkeeper and your right back left, mate. I know who you're going for with your goalkeeper, so that'll be an easy one. All right, for me, I've got my goalkeeper, a DM, and a CM left. Oh no. All right. Oh, okay. I'm gonna go for at my DM position. I'm going for Sangare.
Ooh.
I haven't seen this much of the tournament so far in terms of his performances, but I know he's been pretty good for Nottingham Forest so far this season. So I'm gonna go for him.
Came off the bench today, I believe.
All right, I'm okay with that. You know, medal's a medal, silverware's silverware. I'm going for him. And that is my last Ivory Coast pick as well. So we're gonna have to leave that one. Oh, okay. All right, I've got one left. I think I'm gonna go for Kakuta at CM.
Congo.
Yes, I'm going for Kakuta at CM. I believe he's had a pretty decent tournament.
Yes.
And really, I'm running out of other countries to pick, so I'm gonna have to go for Kakuta. So yeah, my midfield is it's not lighting the world on fire, but you know we'll take it given I've got an absolutely stanky defense and attack. So we'll leave that one alone. Moving on swiftly before anyone dwells too much on that one. And who are you going for at either goalkeeper or right back?
Oh, this is sticky, man. But you know what? I'm gonna go for. It's between 2 Nigeria players, but I'm not sure who's the best approach here. But I think I'm gonna go for Nigeria's goalie, Nwabali. He won in a penalty shootout. Obviously, saved a couple pens against South Africa in a penalty shootout, and yeah, helped them get to the final. So Stanley Nwabali. Now I've got no more Nigerian picks, yeah?
It looks like it. Oh, mate, I'm struggling in the background for a goalkeeper, so please, guys, take your time. Please, take your time as much as you can, because I'm absolutely struggling out here. Nash, pause, please. Speak slowly.
So my next centre mid choice, I'm going to go Anguissa from Cameroon.
Oh, I like that.
That's good.
I do like that.
Now I've got a solid foundation and I've got runners with just enough creativity to keep the ball rolling. And the left back, I'm going to go for, let me get this name right. Ryan Out-Nouri from Wolves.
Yeah, that's a good one. But Algeria stunk in this AFCON.
Yes,
but...
I know, but he gave a good account of himself. One
Wait,
of the bright spots.
Who was your first player again? Sorry, I was still looking at goalkeepers.
Anguissa from Cameroon.
Okay, all right, there we go.
Definitely.
Oh, okay, so you finished out your team. We'll read them out at the end, but your team's looking pretty good. Anthony, yours not so much. Who are you going for at right back, mate?
All right, I'm going to go for another Qatar player. I'm going for Tarek Salman, right back. He's played pretty well for them. I mean, generally Qatar have looked really impressive in this tournament. I think they've got a bunch. Yeah, they've got a bunch of clean sheets as well. They've looked really good. So I'm going to go for Tarek Salman.
Okay, he's going for Tarek Salman. Oh no.
Jonty, old boy.
I'm done out here.
Wasn't there meant to be a time limit on this?
I'm going to ruin my whole team with this pick. I'm certain of it. Oh no. All right. Okay. You know what? I'm going to do it. I'm just going to do it.
Andre Onana?
No, not that desperate. All right. I'm going to go for. Wait. Yeah, I'm going to go for Qatar's goalkeeper. I'm going for Mashal Barsham.
That's a brave.
Mate, I'm scraping the bottom of the barrel right now. But he looks good. He looks good. All right. He's won something.
What have you seen for him to say he looks good?
I honestly, I have not seen anything from this guy, but I'm gonna go for it anyway because he's.
You just want to bring diversity in your team. You want the brown
exactly.
there.
You stink. Yeah.
Yeah, I mean, yeah. No, I've got to get someone from the winners, surely, right? I haven't got any other Qatar players in the team, so I'm a glory hunter out here. I'm like the two of you, but with Premier League football teams.
Oh wait.
All right. Okay. All right. Let's read out the teams. Everyone, just forget that last pick that I chose and just remember the one before. All right. All right. We'll go for Nash first. Nash, do you want to read out your team or shall I?
No, you should.
All right. Cool.
I had to do a few changes in there, so you know.
All right, we're going to go for goalkeeper first. What's his last name? Ronwen Williams. So you've got a goalkeeper of Ronwen Williams from South Africa. At right back, you've got Wilfred Singo from Ivory Coast. You've got the DRC centre-back pairing of Baka and Mbemba. And you've got Ait-Nouri at left back. Then in DM, you've got Frank Kessie. Your two CM sitting in front of him, you're going for Iwobi and Anguissa. And then left wing, Lee Kang-in, right wing Kubo, and centre forward Ian Nacho. We'll get some comments at the end about who we think has won this, but you know, Nash, try and think of a good argument in your head, mate. And we'll go for your team. So at goalkeeper, you've got Nwabali from Nigeria. You've got Salman at right back. You've got a centre back pairing of Chustikong and Itakura with Masuaku at left back. Then at DM, you've got Hwang In Byom. And you've got Mokoena and Morita sitting in front of him. Then at left wing, you've got Afif, centre forward Hwang Yi-chan, and right wing Simon Adingra from Ivory Coast. And then clearly the best team. You've got Johnson's team with a goalkeeper of Mashal Barsham, a right back of Emilio Nsui, a left back of Ashraf Hakimi, and a centre back pairing of Kim Min-jae and Takahiro Tomiyasu. At DM, I've got Sangare with Pape Sarr and Kakuta sitting in front of him. And then an unbelievable attacking trio of Heung-min Son at left wing, Sebastian Haller at centre forward, and Mohamed Kudus at right wing. So let's get comments first, guys. Who do we think is going to win this in the comments or
I think
just
you should
in
go
general?
First. In your honest opinion, who do you think won?
It's
Honesty,
obviously not.
please.
It can't be me because mine's just names. So I'm gonna have to go for you, Nash. I think Anthony's team is it's a bit too hipster for my liking.
Just
I
because
mean,
you don't know half the players, that's
Ance's
right.
team would have a total shirt sales of about 20. So yeah, I've got to go for Nash. He's at least got
You
a
don't
nice
know
mix
any of the players.
of informed players, but also some great names. So that I mean, that's just my humble opinion. My ball knowledge is not not renowned as being great. So take that
You
with a
did your
pinch of salt
best.
if you must. But I think, Ant, who do you think's won this? And I mean, be honest, all right?
Yeah, I think it's obviously between Nash or me. Your team's thing. And I'll be honest. There's only like 2 or 3 positions in Nash's team that I would swap out for like someone else, and I think there's probably like 5 or 6 on mine that I would swap out. I didn't get first choice goalie. Nash stole that from me, the dirty bastard. And then I wanted Kubo or Lee Kung in, and I didn't get them. But I like Adingra, and Afif was like the player of Asia Cup. So I think I just made a mistake with my goalie. I should have gone Barsham. And I should have gone Ole Aina for right back for Nigeria, but I went the other way around. But yeah, probably Nash has just about nicked it. Your one is just like prawn sandwich brigade draft picks.
Mate, my shirt sales would be unbelievable. Can you imagine? This is worthy of being like a Real Madrid team out here.
Nah,
Yours
this
will
is
be
New
Lakers
York
post Kobe, man.
Exactly.
Old players,
Lakers
big
post-Kobe.
names.
Yeah, exactly.
No, this is the Brooklyn Nets. I've got the Brooklyn Nets right here. It's a
Which
lot of big
version?
names, but no. I mean, one of the most recent versions.
I think the Vince
Kyrie
Carter
and-
one.
Oh
exactly.
no, that's harsh. Come on.
You can't.
You're not even giving me the Brooklyn Nets. You're giving me like the bloody New Jersey Nets out here. They don't even exist anymore.
No, when you put Nsui at right back and you put Hakimi left back, I was like, I've had enough of you. You stink. How can you do that? You're not taking it seriously. Honestly.
Oh, I
You
told
still-
you, man. I'm going for names. People won't remember where they played. All they
You
will
got Gail-
remember is the name.
You got Gail Kakuta centre midfield. No disrespect to Gail Kakuta, but no
He's
one
not
cared
centre
about
mid.
him. No one cares about him since that he screwed Chelsea over with a transfer ban. He's been.
I was going to
absolutely
say,
bullshit
wasn't he meant to be next up?
Yeah, but that's part of the
Yeah.
reason why I chose him.
Well, redemption
because he's
story.
a flop.
I
Yeah,
know
because
you
he's
need
the
to be
arch enemy of
romantic.
the Chelsea football team.
Oh, get out of here! That's not the reason why. You didn't have anyone else in midfield. That's why you pulled Sarr out of your ass. The
I had
other
a
ones
couple
you-
more, but they were so poor in the tournament that I couldn't pick them. They were great names, but there's no chance I was getting away with picking them. To be perfectly honest with you, and one of them's a Liverpool player that I wasn't going to choose.
I bet you had
regardless,
one
so.
of those Jan siblings in there somewhere.
All right, we need to end this episode right now before I look any worse. All right.
No, we got one more question for Nash.
Of
We
course
asked
we
all our
do.
guests.
We do. All right. I mean, we've had some great names actually called already, so you've got a couple of ideas floating in your head already. But this was obviously a question that we ask all guests, just given the fact that this is a podcast that tries to highlight a lot of the kind of East and Southeast Asian players that are playing the game today, but also the ones that played previously. So Nash, I'm going to ask you, who is your favorite Asian player of all time?
Ooh. There's obviously 2 answers for this. There's the real one, and then there's what my heart wants. My heart wants Park Ji-sung. I'm a United fan. He's always been underrated to me. People thought he was just an industrious midfielder who runs up and down. But on his day, given the right team setup, he could create, he could pass, he could defend, he could do it all. So I always have a soft spot for him. But I think my favorite would have to be Keisuke Honda. That's a Pro Evolution Soccer fave, playing in Russia. The epitome of cool, with the blonde hair. Yeah, I was a big fan.
Yeah,
That is a great shout. I mean, I don't think has anyone picked him before?
Yeah, a few people have picked him. I think Josh
a couple of people gave him as like a honorable mention, but I'm not sure if anybody picked him first out though. Did they?
No, I think Josh Sim picked it. The last guest that we had on, but before that, definitely people gave him honorable mention. But yeah, you know what it is. Yeah, Honda was such a baller, but he almost felt like he fell off like the Nakata tree. because he did the blonde hair. He was like a bit of a silky baller. He had a disgusting long range strike on him. I remember those couple of goals he scored at the World Cup where he slapped it in from outside the box. He was a really good player, man. And yeah, he was definitely that generation's Asian Rico Suave type Don with his spiked up.
I think what makes it, he should have moved to a bigger. Well, maybe he didn't have a choice, but the move to Europe was a little too late. He went to an AC Milan that was in financial disaster, that patchwork team, so he never really got to show out at the top of sport where he probably deserved to be.
I mean, on top of that, he's killing it now as like, I guess, a businessman / venture capitalist. I did read recently that he set up some like $100 million fund now in Japan for startups. So
doing the Flamini.
He's doing it. I mean, but he's obviously a much better player than Flamini ever was. So,
I like Matty on his day.
Yeah, but he was part of quite a terrible Arsenal team, so I don't want to put that label on him, unfortunately. But yeah, Keisuke Honda, absolute baller. As you say, he had that Nakata kind of tinge to him. He was a really powerful, strong player, absolute hammer of a foot. There's so many times that I saw him smashing one top corner. As you say, probably went into Europe a little bit too late, really, into one of the big leagues. But I definitely think he could have been, I guess, a star really of the Asian game, even more so than he already was at that time. And yeah, I don't want people to forget about him because obviously Nakata has got all of the legendary kind of Italian football at its prime label around him. And then Honda, not as much. Yeah, Kago kind of took over from that. And I feel like Honda doesn't really get as much respect as he should. So that is an absolute world-class pick right there. I'm happy that you didn't say Park Ji-sung because obviously every United fan that we have on here always says Park Ji-sung and it gets a bit boring. So I'm happy to see somebody's branched out a little bit from that. But yeah, no, unbelievable pick. And I think that's a perfect way to wrap up the pod right there. I've got to say big thank you, Nash. As
Thank
always,
you guys for
mate.
having me. I've enjoyed this time.
We definitely want to bring you back on soon because, yeah, we need to hear more about what's going on with Bruno Fernandes. So we'll see what goes on against Luton, mate. We might have to get you back on immediately if you lose.
Oh,
just
Lord,
to
I'll
see
be
what
here,
happens. Man. He's going to have the Gordon's gin back out again.
Man,
Tanqueray, mate.
Oh, it was Tanqueray. Yeah, but next time, if you lose to Luton, it will be half broken, and he'll be wielding it like a weapon.
Asking for addresses in Manchester.
Wow. Wrap it up, Jods. Wrap it up.
All right, wrap it up. All right. Thank you, everyone. Big thank you, as always, for joining the pod, and we'll see you all next week.
Cheers, guys. Thanks for coming on, Nash.
Take care. Anytime. Thank you.
Cheers, folks.